Hello friends, thank you so much for joining me. So today I'm really excited about this video because it's 100% a request that I got in my comments section very recently, like just last week I think. Someone was asking for a wedding guest all drugstore makeup look. And I didn't want to wait too long because I know it is the season for weddings, and also you have that tricky element of you want the staying power, you want to look good, you might be in some pictures, you want to get through the wedding, through the reception. Sometimes it can turn into a long day into the night. It needs to be a good makeup look, but again, the request was all drugstore, so not a problem for me. We can totally do that. So I've got my skincare on, you guys, and I will say make sure you're really moisturized. Like I use a variety of serums, and then I love the Vanicream Daily Facial Moisturizer, for example. I use the Vanicream Face Cream, the actual rich cream under my eyes. That's a great prep step. And then I'm using SPF. For me, that's the Supergoop Every Single Face SPF 50. Love that stuff. Very thin, won't interfere with your makeup look. So the prep is important. One more thing you could see is kind of an additional prep step would be a primer. I'm going to use one of the gripping primers that's in my collection. This one's from Catrice, and we've got like a little Catrice trifecta of things coming up here with my primer, my foundation, and my concealer. But this is the Aqua Splash Grip Primer. It is hydrating, so I think the added little moisture boost is nice because we're going to do like kind of a mattifying long wear foundation that's also thin, but this is really good underneath, and it's not sticky and annoying like some primers are to put on. Even though those primers work, I'm talking about you, e.l.f., they can just be kind of annoying to put on. This one gives you that gripping benefit, but it's so much easier to apply. Then we're going to go to the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage. I think this is perfect for an occasion where you need that long wear. You potentially could be outdoors, it's summertime, it's hot. You're trying to minimize the weight of products on the skin. So you're gonna see with our foundation and concealer choices, we're not going too heavy, but we're gonna achieve that coverage, okay? So I'm using HD Liquid Coverage. This shade is Sand Beige. I hope they never get rid of this stuff. Catrice has done some squirrely things getting rid of good products, but we need this one. So I'm just using my little dropper and I'm getting it around everywhere. Now you have an option here. You could blend it in with a sponge. That works fine. It's gonna knock down your coverage just a little bit. This is so thin, I think it blends out really well with a brush. I'm using my big old e.l.f. Smooth Swipe foundation brush. Look at the size of that thing. Okay, and I'm using that to spread my foundation around. Get it all nicely blended in. The coverage is beautiful. Got quite a bit on my forehead, so I'm going to kind of transplant that to some other areas of my face. And when we're thinking staying power, like a general rule of thumb, even if you're not using my same products that I'm talking about in this video, think thin layers. I feel like there's just a better adherence to the skin when you're keeping it thinner. And then for me, I'm just thinking like what can be thin but also have coverage. In the little claims listed on this foundation, it says mattifying. When that gets totally blended in on moisturized skin and primed skin, I feel like I don't look that matte. It's like a natural finish, truly. But I'm evened out. I'm covered. You adjust the amount you apply. If you apply more, you're going to get a little more coverage. That is a great product. And then we're popping in the True Skin Concealer, okay? I wear this in Cool Cashmere. This is great for, again, keeping it thin. Keeping it thin, but we still want coverage. We still want staying power, okay? So I'm going to give myself some right in here on the inner part of the eye. And even if you do have a thin concealer, I think some blending with the Beauty Blender can really be a good thing, especially up on the under eye and you're concerned about things caking, looking too heavy as time goes on. We can spread it with our brush and then consider blending it in with the Beauty Blender. So I'm taking my e.l.f. Tap and Blend concealer brush and I'm just spreading it out. I wish Catrice was a little more easily accessible, like you could run into Walmart and grab the things I'm talking about. But at least if you're going to order online off their website or off of Amazon, they're keeping their prices at under $10 and the quality is just so good. So look what I'm doing with that Tap and Blend brush. All I did was I spread out my dots, okay? This is not the full blend, but we spread it out. So then a dampened Beauty Blender can come in, use whatever kind you like, and it can tap that concealer in without like just eating up the product, you know? Great blend, great coverage. If my foundation were thicker, I probably would have pulled this sponge in for that as well, because the sponge is what can take a thicker foundation and sort of thin it out in the blending process. But this one kind of started thin anyway, and I wanted to maintain that really good coverage. So yay, great little Catrice trifecta there on our coverage. Then we're gonna set the under eye. I've got a variety of powders I like to use for that. Here I'm pulling in my e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. This is in the light pink shade. If you gotta travel for a wedding, you wanna take a good little powder with you. This has a full lock over the holes, so that's nice to have. And then I switched out to a little Morphe powder puff. I've been using my e.l.f. Pinky Puffs, which I love, but they need to be washed and I haven't done it yet, so I just went to a new little puff. I do like the deep point that this has to get right in there. But we're patting this in on the under eye. We're going to go on the T-zone too. Getting around the nose, really thinking about the sides of the nostrils. Okay, that's an area where breakdown can happen real easy, at least on me. Sides of the mouth. Know where your danger zones are, okay? Between the brows too, for me. Okay, looking so good. Then, if you've been with me for a while, you know what we do next. We take a Morphe under eye bullet brush, or whatever kind of like compact yet sort of dense brush you have, and you go in and hit that under eye and kind of spread your powder around a little bit. Work it in. Oh yeah, the skin is looking good. Then one additional lightweight powder step to really ensure that the skin everywhere is not feeling too tacky. Now this foundation isn't gonna leave you overly tacky, but I wanna feel more smoothly set everywhere. Maybelline Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation, shade 128. I've hit a lot of pan for a reason. Take a powder brush, pick up a light bit, and put that where you did not just set your under eye and stuff. So I'm getting like sides of the cheeks, across the whole forehead, and it just kind of gives my skin one consistent set feel. And again, a light amount. They call it hybrid powder foundation. You can use it either way. You know, you can use it to top something off, or you can make it be your powder foundation. Okay, that's a face ready to receive some bronzer now. Couple different strategies on getting your bronzer and your blush to last a long time. Some might say, put on a layer of cream, top it with a layer of powder, and it's going to be long wear. That's one way to think about it. Another thing is to kind of keep adhering to our thin layers idea. And I feel like if you foresee any sweating happening in the day, I feel like a powder texture is going to do a little better for you and how everything lasts. Just make sure it's something pigmented. It's something that you know tends to hang around well on your skin, even though it's simply a powder. I'm going with this. This is my Catrice Butter-like Bronzer and Contour. I've got both those great tones in here, so if I want to look a little more sunny on the forehead, I'm taking the top shade, which is more like a pure bronzer. This is my Sephora angled brush, but it doesn't have to be from Sephora. There are plenty of angled brushes sold of this kind of blush brush size. And just work that bronzer right up into the hairline. Okay, nice and easy. We're giving our skin some dimension. Go to the brownish one that's on the bottom. My shade in this is Shape It My Way. Note how that one can give you a little bit more of a shadowed look, okay? That's where we're talking contour as opposed to just bronzing. It's incredibly handy to have both in one compact, because then I can finish off that cheek with a little bronze, more like in a blush placement zone where the sun hits. See that? See how we just accomplished a whole thing there with just a couple swipes and only holding one compact? Oh, an owl is hooting out there. We also have a chubby old groundhog, hanging out in our backyard tree line area. And the girls have been putting out food for him, hoping to see him more often. I love this bronzer so much. What a great idea. And it's a great texture, it's pigmented, and it lasts. Thin layers. Nothing on my skin is heavy. That's the thing. And then to avoid the additional layer of a highlighter, we're gonna do kind of a glowy blush. I'm going for my Essence. This is the Soft Baked Blush. I love this shade called Cocoa Glaze. See how that's gonna give us blushy color, but also some glow. Just built right in. We're not gonna be over the top glowy. We don't wanna be. We know it's summer wedding season. You don't need to be going overboard on highlighter this time of year. Look at that tone, okay? I think this is going to fall right in line with what I'm planning to do for the eyes and the lips. Yes, and it's so pretty, kind of melting in with your bronzer as well. You dig it? Look how once you hit the apple of the cheek, that's when you've got that little bit of glow kind of popping right there. Oh, it's so good. I am so pleased with the way this complexion turned out because I feel covered, I don't feel weighty, and I know it's gonna wear a long time. Okay, I'm doing a couple different Morphe things here on the brow. I pulled out my Morphe Micro Brow Pencil in Java. Use whatever brow pencil works for you, but this is just one of the many good skinny ones that's out there. And I'm just gonna get my brows filled in. Anybody else got one brow that loves to cooperate and one brow that makes you work for it? This is my cooperative brow. I feel like I do hardly anything to it anymore. Just hit a couple spots, you know, and we're happy. This is the one that's like, okay, have fun with that scar. But I like this brow pencil. I do like the texture of it. I'm not having to press and work too hard, but yet I'm not overwhelmed by the amount laying down. So I told you guys that Nook Bell had her tryout for All-Star Cheer, but she doesn't know what team she's on yet because they're in the process of kind of like a callback phase where they saw your individual skills, which if you're returning and you cheered there last year, they pretty much know your individual skills, but they documented that. And then it's like, come back, and I imagine they've got maybe some stunt group pairings in mind or some ideas in mind for teams, but they just want to see like how people work together. So they've got a couple of those practices going on. I think she had one yesterday. She said it went really well. She enjoyed getting to see some of her old teammates again and get back to some stunting and stuff. Okay, Java is on, and then I'm going to use the Micromanager Gripping Brow Gel. Skinny little brush, doesn't hold too much product, and here you can fluff the brows a little bit. Get them kind of like standing up, fluffed a little more, and it'll stay. This is a great product, and it lasts forever. I've used it a lot. There's no shortage of product coming out still. I dig that. And I hope you guys are considering the fact that even if you don't have a wedding to go to, maybe you have just a photo session. Maybe you have a big like anniversary date night planned, or just anything where maybe you want a little extra special look. Just plug in what we're using here today. Next, you know, we're gonna prime the lids. I'm using my e.l.f. Lock It Down Eye Primer. As I've twisted it, I've got like a twisty grip kind of thing in my tube. I just like having a little doe foot, okay? But I like Milani eye primer too, still. They both work really similarly. That's why I like them. It's already kind of low on my Milani, and it's like, yeah, let's just use this. Pat it in all over your lids. And then I'm gonna use Profusion eyeshadow. Profusion eyeshadows are very affordable, very pigmented. You can get like a 10 color palette for, are they still priced at like $5? And insane quality for what they are. This is the mauves one, and this is their new packaging as well. They've also got a really nice nude one if you'd like to keep it more neutral. But this one's just got, as you can see, a lot of beautiful mattes going on in here. We've got several shimmers, got kind of like a speckled shimmer. That's what that one's gonna look like. But the textures are all smooth and real easy to work with. So I'm gonna work with this one today, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's called Lovely. Tap right in, and I'm gonna start getting that in my crease. Just building a little crease here. Just had to empty out my memory card there real quick, but I'm continuing to blend that one shade and just get a really nice soft little crease. But you notice how crease has really become kind of like up above the eye. We're wanting lift. Same shade called Lovely. And I hope you're realizing as you look at this palette that you can do a lot with this and not necessarily get too reddish with it if you don't want to. Okay, nice and easy does it. Crease, but also above the crease. Work with whatever space you've got there. This is creating an initial bit of lift actually above your eye. Then take something a little deeper. If I'm doing special occasion makeup, I'm not wanting to skimp on the lift and the little bit of glam I can get out of this. I'm gonna take this shade here called Ballad. Really beautiful color here. Actually kind of reminding me of a soft plum I just used in the Morphe Mauve palette. Oh, yes, this might be an even lower cost alternative, but picking up some of that and I'm patting it on my outer lid. See, I generally like these tones. I realize I've gone back to back mauve eyeshadow looks in videos, but I like these tones on my eyes. They bring out a little bit of green and a little bit of just extra life in my eye color. hitting outer part of the lid. And then you can flip your brush, you can pull it into your crease. It doesn't have to be stark and really like, boom, outer corner. It's soft, see? Run over that with your crease brush. If this kind of palette just does not jive with your outfit, again, consider the, I want to call it Bare, because they did once have a Bare palette, but consider the Nude palette. Next, I'm going to go with a little brightness on the inner part of my lid. I'm going down to Opal right here. And that's going to go on the inner part of my lid. So really, this is a fairly basic look where eyeshadow application is concerned. We went crease, we went outer lid, and now we're going inner lid. If you wanted to give a little added razzmatazz, I would say think about one of those glitter type of sticks from ColourPop, or Profusion has one as well, where you can just kind of swipe down that sparkle. Some might like that. But here, just with this shade, I'm getting a nice little sheen actually. And you can get it all the way to your inner corner, really. Could have gone even deeper than I did with this palette on color intensity, on reddishness, so to speak, but I really like where we're leaving it there. Then I'm definitely taking a shadow stick to my lower lash line, because again, we're considering staying power really with every part of this routine, and a shadow stick that won't smudge is going to do you so many favors throughout the night. You're not going to be constantly thinking, is shadow drifting? Do I have a smudge down there? This is my L'Oreal Lace Shadow Stick in Magnetic Bronze. And you're thinking, bronze? I didn't think we were going that direction with the look. It's really rather cool. And it's just kind of like a little mid-tone murky thing that gives you that depth, but it still looks really, really soft. And she can just come in and work alongside any look I do, I think. Brown Abyss is the deeper one that might be upper lash line. But today, we're gonna ready ourselves for some lashes. So that means a liquid liner is coming in, and this is my Milani Stay Put Tank liquid liner. This is the black one. The brown one's really good too. And the application is so easy. This one that I'm using is kind of on its last legs. Like, I know I need to repurchase soon, but she's still doing great and really easy to control. If you want to put lashes on, they need to sit down on a definite liner, you know? And if we want to have a little fun with it, why don't we kick up a small wing? Who says you can't do that? Little wing on the outside, just a little. A little glamour, never hurt anybody. Who enters here? Biscuits. But what you're going to love about this is that it's not going to smudge for anything, okay? You can cry. It's not going to go anywhere. Winging up, thinking about the direction of the outer tip of the brow with it. Not drooping down, shooting up a little. All in all, it's not a big wing, is it? It's like a micro wing. Implement however much winging you want to do. And then now that I'm seeing that, I might take my shadow stick and be like, okay, shadow stick, blend outward just a little bit more. And I'm having it just go right up under that wing. See, I didn't have it before when I first put that on. I meant to do this after brows, and you could do it at the tail end of your makeup too, but your setting spray. When staying power is the most important, I'll pull in this L'Oreal 3-second setting mist. For day to day, I don't always love like that feeling is like, oh, I'm putting hairspray on my face. It's kind of the vibe is a hairspray feeling. And in that case, I've been using a lot of the Milani like hydrating Make It Last setting spray. But this truly will lock it in. It will. Next up for lashes. So I mentioned I'm doing a false lash. I'm going to use the Ardell Naked Lashes. The style is 423. They're really like pretty and fluttery. But we need some mascara on there first. And I'm going to go tubing top and bottom with my e.l.f. Lash Extender. Why? Because, you know, we may get emotional. We may have tears. And a tubing mascara, if you don't start rubbing on your eye, a tubing mascara will stay for you and not start smearing. I just love e.l.f. Lash Extender. I'm so glad it's a thing. I use it every day on the lower lashes because that's kind of my smudgy danger zone. But yeah, if we're talking wedding, I'd put it up top too. And here I'm acknowledging, okay, if I'm putting a lash on, it's not all the mascara's responsibility to give my lashes volume, right? I know a lash is coming in. I know e.l.f. Lash Extender isn't my most like big lash mascara, and that's okay. But just pop it on top and bottom. Another great positive for this mascara is the brush is so easy to control. That's a really compact brush. If you have issues with kind of like getting messy with it and accidentally tapping your eyelid and not wanting to have to correct all that, this one's really easy to manage. And if you're like, I just watched your empties video and I saw you used up your pack of Ardell Naked 423s. These are still technically being used because a lot of the lashes I take off live downstairs in my bathroom. So yeah, still got a pair. They've got decent length, but they're not too thick and they feel absolutely weightless on the eyes. And if you've got a Dollar Tree, I highly recommend hitting them up for some Ioni lash glue. It's the best. It doesn't irritate my eyes. The lashes stay on all day. It's $1.25. I really enjoy the heck out of our little local Dollar Tree because it's not hard for me to get to a Walmart. Like there's not one immediately in my town, but it's not like I'm having a long drive to get to one if I need to. But it's so handy to have that Dollar Tree like right in town. If you want to go no falsies, no problem. I think this looks really good. But why not add a little extra drama? It's wedding season. Oh yeah, we just bumped up the glam there. And this is a pair of Ardell Naked lashes that have had a little mascara put on them. So they're maybe looking even thicker than they look just right out of the box. Here's our other set. We're letting the glue get a little bit tacky. Of course, I've got other like false lash how-tos more specifically if you need that. But I center it up with the center of my eye and then I just tap down each end. And boom, it's on. And now the glue dries clear, but if you've got any spots where after a couple minutes you're feeling like, you know, that's still looking a little stubborn there, like it's not quite fading, you can just kind of go over it with your little liner pen, no big deal. And another thing you can do, especially with a fresh pair of lashes that hasn't been worn before, you can tap right at the base. And this can help blend your natural lashes with your fake lashes. And then sometimes once I put false lashes on, I'm like, you know, the lowers could use a little more. Yay. All right, the eyes are popping. Now for lips, I'm kind of thinking with this look, soft lip but stained. Okay, so I'm gonna take one of my new stains from e.l.f. This is the one called Maple Latte. Played with this one a bit, what was it, Saturday. Look how it's gonna give me kind of a brownish nudie look. Long wearing stain. It's getting dry and then I'm thinking I want maybe a little more definition in here. Cheap lip liner that works great, LA Colors lip liner pencil in natural. Just kind of define the Cupid's bow. This is something, by the way, you can find it at Walmart or like Dollar General. I know there's a lot of LA Colors at Dollar Tree, but I didn't find this particular product there. I'm kind of focusing on Cupid's bow and the lower outer part here. It'll merge right in with the color of that stain. And then I want a gloss that's just gonna pop off. This one right here. Crystal Baller from my e.l.f. Glimmer Lip Oil Collection. Glitzy. Glimmery. Blend it in. I think that's fun. I think that's fun. I really enjoy that. If you want it to pop off a little bit less, go with Princess Cut. And if you want it to pop off even just a little bit less than that, go with Divine Wine. Basically, as you deepen that color up, the less like brilliant shimmeriness it's gonna have. But I feel like Frosty Lips are kind of making a comeback and I think it's beautiful. I think eye, lip, and cheek are all kind of working together. Just before I put the lip on, I was considering adding more blush. And now that the lip is on and the eye is done, I'm thinking the cheek actually looks like it fits. So guys, that is my all drugstore wedding guest glam. It's built for staying power, but it's gonna look good. Those lashes are giving your eyes some lift. If you're thinking, I like the idea of a lash, I'm open to it, but that style is still too much for me, consider that pair that I used. Do I still have the box? Yes. The Salon Perfect Baby Doll Eye Effect was a very sneaky lash. You can hop back a couple videos to a little Walmart haul where it was Walmart products under $10. These were $2 and change, and one of the most sneaky looking lashes I've used in a while. So I realize not everybody's about a lash, but once I pop on a lash, I feel like, boom, confidence up. Just overall contentment level up. So yeah, thank you for your time, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been updating my video request list, so if you've asked for anything recently and I haven't responded or haven't done it, you might want to shoot that request out to me again because I'm kind of reorganizing what I'm doing there. So thank you again, friends. I'll see you soon. I love you. Bye.